Have you ever pondered what happens in someone's head when they neglect or reject someone they love? You loved them, you tried, and they ignored you, almost like you were invisible. You did something unexpected. Let's suppose they know you'll do this time. Talking about quiet, you remained mute. What if your quiet wasn't the surprise move you thought? If they counted on it? What if they knew you'd back off? Expected you to quit chasing after all your efforts? Because they thought your silence was never a twist. They're smiling, grinning, and winning. They anticipated this chapter. What if they laugh and think your silence isn't working? What if it makes them happy instead of missing you? Suppose they're sitting there thinking, I know them. It was expected, so predictable, so boring. They view your quiet as predictable rather than burdensome. Oh, sitting silently thinking it will impact me. How amusing, they think. Have you considered this? Is your silence helping them? Do you meet their expectations? Hit like, subscribe, and let's explore this strange game of human psychology. This is different from our quiet videos, so we're turning the script. We've discussed the unpredictability of silence, but what happens when people expect it, when ready, when they believe they've won? Click the like button below this video to help distribute this message to other people seeking answers, clarity, and strength. Help someone escape the cycle they thought they'd never escape with your support. Now, let's begin. Imagine them sitting there smug, thinking your quiet means they've won. Your withdrawal is seen as a predictable capitulation, which they saw coming from miles away. They think they've made you a forgotten memory, too weak to continue their twisted game. Good, they thought. I anticipated this. They think your quiet proves they were always in charge and that you've given up. They don't fear your silence. They only see winning. However, my buddy, they are foolish. They assume your silence is about them. They think you're waiting for them to notice, miss, and value you. It's amusing, right? They think you still care after all their contempt, indifference, and manipulation. You're still expecting them. They're wrong. Do not tell me you're still doing this for them, folks. Don't sit in silence thinking they regret and hoping they realize what they lost. No, Stoic you. A Stoic doesn't ask for praise. Stoics don't wait for approval. A Stoic ascends. Your silence never concerned them. All about you. Reclaim your tranquility, power, and self-worth. Choosing dignity over drama, strength over sensitivity, and purpose over pain. Because Stoics overcome betrayal. Say it with me. Silence is strength. Leave a comment. Declare it publicly. Show them your success. They find you predictable. They don't know you, not the Stoic you. Declare in the comments, silence is strength. Tell everyone you've risen. And why? You're just beginning while they're still believing they won. Number 1, they think they won, but didn't. As we talked, they believe your quiet indicates they won. They think your withdrawal proves they broke you. They sit there, celebrating their imagined victory, certain your calm meant defeat. They feel invincible and say, I knew this would happen. Untouchable. They believe they've made you a distant memory, a weak, inconsequential figure in their myth of triumph. They're so wrong. They forget that stillness is deceptive. No white flag of surrender. It's the quiet before the storm. They anticipate drama, begging, and lengthy explanations of how they harmed you. Expect turmoil, not calm. They prefer emotional explosions to calm strength. Silence gives them the impression that they've won. However, their biggest error is assuming your silence is another cheap trick they've seen before. Their sick mind thinks you're playing the same petty game they mastered. Push, pull, retreat, return. They assume you use stillness to trap them, make them chase, and cause the same emotional devastation they've caused you countless times. They're wrong. They don't understand that your silence isn't about them. It's not a ploy or desperate attempt to gain them back. Your silence liberates. It ends their toxic cycle. Instead of forcing them to feel anything, choose to feel nothing for them. They think you're watching your phone for an indication that your absence has finally bothered them. They assume you're eagerly awaiting that message, apology, and frantic request to return. But reality, you don't play their game. You fled the arena. They never saw that move coming. Manipulators think everyone plots, schemes, and plays psychological chess. Your quiet is an exit, not a strategy. They think they're in control, but you cut the ties and left without a word. To them, silence has always been a weapon to confuse, guilt, and control. They won't comprehend that silence isn't a weapon for you. It's calm, the peaceful strength of someone who no longer has to explain, dispute, or find closure. It's the choice to transcend and rebuild in the shadows where they can't reach. They anticipate you to crack and send one last message expressing how deeply they harmed you. You must show you care because they need you. Only then does their power work. However, when they understand you've gone silent, not as a technique, but as a declaration that they no longer matter, their world begins to fracture. Because without your reactions and energy, they're left with the emptiness they've been avoiding. They'll learn too late that they never won when they realize your quiet was release, not manipulation, not even the same game. You were developing a life they'll never live while they were locked in a petty circle. So appear to be playing games. Let them think you're employing their old methods. It's irrelevant, because while they're analyzing, second-guessing, and wondering if you're trying to make them miss you, you're gone. In your world, their opinions, authority, and control are gone. My quiet is freedom, not a game. Leave a comment. Declare as you breathe. You've won while they're playing. Number 2. Their mask is cracking. They wear a perfectly made mask of lies, arrogance, and empty assurance. Outsiders regard them as powerful, untouchable, and charming. They're in charge, superior, and always winning. They never want you to know their dread, insecurity, and emptiness behind that mask. They spent their life refining this act, manipulating emotions, twisting the truth, and making people think they're more than they are. They can say the correct things, smile perfectly, and hide their genuine motives. Their mask collapses without deception, so they live on it. Unfortunately, they can't escape. Their mask cracks. They'll deny it. They'll act fine, like they're in charge and untouchable. They know deep down. They can feel the fissures, strain, and lies closing in. Their mask is fragile glass, not steel. Every broken promise, manipulative game, and hurtful person fractures them more. They created this disguise because they fear being regarded as weak, insecure, and helpless. They wear arrogance like armor to hide their hollow, desperate soul. Because they can't stand being ordinary or forgotten, they need to feel superior. For a while their mask worked, right? You were duped. They made you feel they were powerful, confident, and worthy of your love, attention, and energy. They pretended to be important while treating you like garbage. You waking up was unexpected. Their game altered when you saw through their mask. They wanted you to remain blind, believe their falsehoods, and give while they took without guilt. They hoped you wouldn't perceive them as fearful, insecure people with faux confidence. You know now. You know that when they neglected you, discounted your sentiments, or played with your emotions, it showed weakness. They tried to reclaim control since they were losing it. Indifferent because they couldn't face the truth. You were slipping away and they couldn't stop it. Someone who fears being vulnerable, honest, or true hides behind that mask. They've hid their vulnerabilities under manipulation, deceit, and mind games their whole lives. No matter how brilliantly they act, reality catches up. This is catching up to them. Not forever can they wear that mask. Cracks remain from every game, heartbreak, and person they used. They hoped more falsehoods and manipulation would conceal those fissures. The strongest facade can only last so long. Eventually, it breaks. It does when it will be over. No more lies, games, or manipulators. They faced the hard reality that they were never as tough as they thought. According to Friedrich Nietzsche, whoever fights monsters should see to it that in the process he does not become a monster. They became the monster they feared, a hollow shell of someone who requires power over others to feel important. But you differ. No mask required. Stop pretending to be someone else. You overcame sorrow, heartbreak, and betrayal. Your strength, wisdom, and resilience increased. You removed your mask, not because you wore one. You were unstoppable after facing your problems and accepting your truth. Their world is based on lies, yours on strength. While they subsist on illusions, you thrive on authenticity. While they deny reality, you possess it. Allow them to mask. Let them maintain their frail control facade. Their acts will reveal them. Piece by piece, the mask will break, revealing the empty person behind. Say, "I see through the mask." Leave a comment. State it. Own it. Live it. While they struggle to keep their mask on, you've moved on. You've climbed above their expectations. After the mask breaks, they'll realize they were never as powerful as they thought. and you were never as weak as they thought. Third, the unexpected. Now we know what they expect, know what they're not expecting. The following step is too much for them. You were meant to cry, beg, and beg for attention. They expected you to crumble under their absence. They felt they knew your boundaries and breaking point. They expected your silence to slow fade into oblivion. However, they never expected that quiet to start something bigger. They never anticipated your stillness to birth your rebirth. They thought they'd written your sad finale, where you're trapped in recollections of what could have been. You were never the end. You were their surprise narrative twist, as they sit smugly, believing you faded into the shadows. You're building in them. You're becoming unshakable, unstoppable, untouchable. Imagine a silent, lifeless volcano. Power and pressure are surging beneath the surface. Unexpectedly, that silent mountain erupts, irrepressible and unavoidable. That's you. They believed you'd remain buried in their rubble. They didn't expect you to rebuild, rise taller, stronger, and better than ever amid that stillness. Janet Fitch wrote, "The phoenix must burn to emerge." They thought they had burned you to ashes, but they didn't know that legends start in ashes. You rose from a fire they thought would consume you. They won't grasp how you converted destruction into creativity, suffering into power, and silence into a world-reaching roar. They anticipated a victim. They never expected a warrior, because you were refining your mind, building your power, and strengthening your soul while they celebrated your downfall. Every cry, lonely night, and whispered doubt fueled your transformation. Not simply survived, you thrived. It will be too late when they realize what you've become. They felt you needed them. Your quiet was seen as a frantic attempt to make them miss you. But they were mistaken. You weren't silent because you broke. Finished, you remained silent. No more chasing. Finished explaining. Stop wasting time on someone who will never value you. You channeled that energy into your dreams, goals, and purpose. Once you understood they never defined your value, you stopped expecting for them to notice it. The great Frank Sinatra observed, "The best revenge is massive success." However, revenge was never the goal. They think you're returning to prove something. You're never coming back. You're not looking their way. While they're locked in the past, you're living a bright future that blinds your doubters. You are the unexpected storm they thought they could control and reject. I can't reach you now. Lions don't need to declare their existence. No roar is needed to establish it's the Jungle King. The power is sensed. We know its strength. That's you. Your quiet shows strength. Your absence haunts them. You're no longer manipulable and will be remembered. Epictetus wisely said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it." They anticipated your rage and sadness. However, your silence has fractured their control. They thought they controlled the strings, but you've carefully severed them till they can't pull anymore. It will be too late when they realize what you've become. They'll sit there wondering where you went, what you were thinking, and if you cared. By then, you'll be miles ahead, living your greatest life without their restraints. So appear to be playing games. Let them think you're employing their old methods. It's irrelevant, because while they're analyzing, second-guessing, and wondering if you're trying to make them miss you, you're gone. In your world, their opinions, authority, and control are gone. Say it with me. I'm the unexpected storm. Leave a comment. State it. Own it. Live it. You're the ending they didn't expect, and the beginning they'll never escape. Number 4. Stoic power reclamation. Imagine a ship sunk by persistent storms. The wind howls, waves crash, and the ship appears to sink. An hidden, inexorable anchor rests at its center. Though the storm is fierce, that anchor grounds the ship. As that ship, your inner strength, your capacity to stay calm and steady, is your anchor. Stoic power reclamation means that, instead of resisting the storm, become steadfast in it. The folks who laughed at your quiet and thought they conquered you, gambled on you drifting, lost, and sinking like every other ship. They never expected your anchor. Like a Stoic, you can take power without their approval or confirmation. Your power comes from within, not outside. Once you grasp that, no storm can sink you. According to Marcus Aurelius, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Ultimate truth. Control your mind. Control everything. Whoever controls their emotions cannot be manipulated. They can throw stones and cause havoc. But if you stay focused, nothing can touch you. Stoics don't ignore suffering or pretend not to care to reclaim control. This involves admitting the hurt, processing the feelings, and letting go. It means resisting external chaos to maintain inner tranquility. Understanding that your worth is based on how you respond, not how others treat you. Imagine a candle in darkness. That candle burns quietly and consistently, no matter how deep the night is. Because its flame is within, darkness can't snuff it out. That's you. Your stillness made them think they'd extinguished you. Actually, you've been burning brighter than ever, just out of grasp. They were too busy seeking for pyrotechnics to notice the peaceful flame that never fades. Stoics reclaim power by understanding when to leave, not to be recognized or to make a point, but because they've outgrown what no longer serves them. Choose your battles wisely. Not all insults, betrayals, and slights deserve attention. True strength is letting go and going forward. According to Seneca, it is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor. Power over you was desired. They loved influencing your emotions and made you doubt yourself. They can't thrive without your attention, which you took away. Stop responding to regain energy. Peace returns when you stop pursuing closure. When you stop seeking their approval, you gain freedom. They believed they controlled. They didn't realize you could always sever those strings. They wanted a puppet that danced when pulled and fell when released. You were never a puppet. You held the blade. Stoics reclaim power by becoming self-sufficient. It's realizing that no one else controls your happiness, future, or success. Not everyone needs to see your value. You're always worthy. They believe power comes from submission. But true strength comes from above. It comes from standing tall when everything is trying to break you. Being your own rescue is no longer needing someone to come back, apologize, or acknowledge what they did. According to Epictetus, we suffer not from events, but from our judgments about them. You have no influence over their actions. No one can change history. You can modify how you see things and let it shape your future. It might make you bitter or better. They don't want you to know that the most dangerous individual is someone who doesn't need anyone. A whole, safe and whole person. That's you. You regained power via transformation, not revenge or confrontation. They viewed your silence as defeat. However, it meant you no longer live in their world, follow their rules, or seek their approval. Repeat, I reclaim my power. Leave a comment. Declare it with every breath for you, not them. Because you are the storm-proof anchor. You illuminate the darkest nights. You control your mind. You can never lose that power once you reclaim it. 5. The surprise flip. Imagine playing a game where your opponent thinks they won. They're so sure they'll win that they ignore you, thinking you're done. They laugh and celebrate their victory until you make the one move they didn't expect. That's when everything changes. They considered you finished, a forgotten chapter. They never anticipated your emergence. You built, healed, and evolved in solitude as they celebrated your defeat. They thought your narrative ended, but your silence never concluded. Your change began then. It will be too late when they discover what happened. They expected you to dwell on what they did, reliving the pain and seeking closure. They felt they could leave you, that their absence would define your life as distance. But they missed your progression, similar to a seed buried deep in the ground. From the outside, it appears lifeless, forgotten, and irrelevant. Life goes on beneath the surface. The seed silently grows stronger as its roots stretch. Then, suddenly, it breaks through the soil, strong, unstoppable, and obvious. That seed is you. They planted you instead of burying you. You're their surprise force. To quote Lao Tzu, silence is a source of great strength. They thought silence signified defeat, but never recognized its potential. Silence is potential for growth, not emptiness. They thought you were gone, but you were becoming. The surprise flip wasn't a fight or emotional outburst. It was neither retaliation nor a show of power. Flipping was your transformation. You stopped explaining. You stopped need approval. You quit their game. When people discover your absence, it will be like a surprise storm. They'll look for someone they believed they left behind, but they don't exist. They'll see someone they can't control, someone who doesn't react. Their life survives without them. Flipping is about understanding you never needed them, not making them regret. Rumi wrote, "Try not to resist the changes that come your way. Let life live through you. The wound is where the light enters you." They believed their apathy broke you, but they never realized that every wound they caused strengthened you. When they undervalued, disregarded, or ignored you, they gave you freedom. Now you're unstoppable. They expected you to dwell on the past and what may have been, but you've grown up. You were creating a life without them as they played the same game. Your success, contentment, and ability to let go surprised them. They assumed your quiet was about them, but it wasn't. Reclaiming yourself, your worth, your future. You failed to deliver revenge, closure, and confrontation. No explanation, apology, or plea. Just silence. How about that silence? It will resonate louder than words ever could. People who play games expect drama. They want you back to fight and react. They expect noise, not silence. So responding with nothing frightens them. They've been avoiding facing themselves, but it pushes them too. Epictetus remarked, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control." Freedom was your greatest action, not revenge. It walked away without looking back. It was establishing a complete, rich, powerful life that made their opinion irrelevant. They thought your narrative was about them, but you changed it. You are your life's hero, the one who rose without permission, one who thrived without approval, reclaimed everything they believed they could steal from you. Let them laugh now. Let them think they won, because you live in the future while others live in the past. I am the unexpected flip. Leave a comment, state it, own it, live it, because you're the unexpected finish and the beginning they'll never escape. Sixth, you won, not them. Imagine a desert hunter following a shimmering mirage they think is valuable. They pursue it with everything they have, greedy and hungry for something valuable. When they reach it, they realize it was a desperation-induced illusion. That's them. They left thinking you were after them, seeking for approval, affection, and acceptance. They saw themselves as the value, worth battling for, and irreplaceable. They imagined their absence would break you, leaving you longing and empty. They were so wrong. They were never the prize. It was you. It was you always. But they were too blind, arrogant, and self-important to notice. They believed they were untouchable, indispensable. They were a mirage you eventually realized for what it was. Empty, phony, and useless. You gave your love, loyalty, and time while they played games and pretended to be exceptional. You added value, but they were too self-centered to notice. They accepted all you contributed and made you believe they were your salvation. They were never the prize. You are. Maya Angelou advised, never make someone a priority when all you are to them is an option. You prioritized them. You sacrificed, compromised, and gave them everything while they treated you like a disposable item. You now know the truth. They valued being wanted, chased, and required. But true value comes from being irreplaceable, not being chased. Never recognized it was your light that made everything sparkle. But they thought their presence gave your life significance. They're ordinary without you. They told you you were lucky to have them, that they were a gift and find. But what did they offer you? Lies, deception, emotional games, and empty promises to hook you. You brought sincerity, love, and loyalty. You endured the storms, battled for the relationship, and believed in them. Your value came from you, not them. They took while you gave. Seneca stated, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." They desired your time, love, and energy, yet gave nothing in return. They took because they thought they earned it, unaware that they were taking something precious and priceless. They've lost it. They thought they left you, yet they left their best experience. They felt they could live without you and replace you with someone else. They know that's impossible because you're the prize, not for what you did, but for who you are, kind, loving, and there even when it's hard. No amount of superficial connections or affirmation will bring them that again. You were always the prize. When they see you rising, prospering, and living a life without them, they'll regret not because they loved you or changed, but because they lost something valuable. Ralph Waldo Emerson observed, "What lies behind us and what lies before us are tiny matters compared to what lies within us." You were always valuable. You were never judged by their behavior. It was never about staying or leaving. Even though their trickery obscured it, it was yours from the start. Allow them to feel unique. Assume they were the reward, no longer important. You've overcome illusions, lying, and needing their praise. In your new universe, you know your worth, set the bar, and are the reward. Say it, I'm the prize. Leave it in the comments. Claim it, live it. They pretended to be valuable, but you were priceless all along. Never again will they have access to you. 7. The unexpected tumble. Imagine a tower erected with unsteady hands, stolen bricks and pieces from others, kept together with lies, deception, and false promises. From the outside, it appears tall and invincible. However, its center has hollow fissures that will burst open when life's storms arrive. That's them. They live their entire lives trying to be stronger, wiser, and more appealing. Carrying confidence like armor, they deceived everyone. They climbed using individuals as stepping stones, assuming their charm and cunning would keep them on top forever. Unfortunately, time is merciless. Every flaw, false layer, and lie they told is revealed. No matter how expertly they played the game or created their facade, they would collapse. They initially ignored the fractures beneath them. They were too preoccupied with their perceived superiority and believing life will always revolve around them. You were swiftly forgotten as another piece in their game. They thought they'd broken you, abandoned you, and avoided consequences. However, life teaches those who refuse to learn. You rose slowly, gradually, silently while they chased shallow approval, worthless relationships, and transitory distractions. They feared their absence would ruin you, yet it released you. You stopped sharing power. You stopped seeking, explaining, and hoping. Let go. Your quiet indicated regeneration, not failure. You changed while they reproduced poisonous patterns. You learnt and matured into something better than they thought, someone beyond their reach. They've fallen. Percy Shelley wrote, "Fear not for the future, weep not for the past." But they do. Cry for everything they've lost, the opportunities they missed, and the love they no longer feel. They initially deny it. They'll keep believing everything is perfect and nothing has changed. What about pretending? Can't last forever. Late at night, when the world is silent and no one is to fool, they'll feel it. The weight of everything they've done will crush, suffocate, and envelop them. They'll remember. You'll be remembered for your love, loyalty, and patience, which they took for granted. Long after they deserved it, they'll remember your fight, forgiveness, and faith. They'll remember every time they banished you, sure you'd return until you didn't. That was their surprise fall. They felt invincible. It seemed they could play games forever. They believed they could manage, reject, and replace people without consequence. They forgot that life always pays its obligations. The Greek philosopher Heraclitus observed, "Character is destiny," and their fate was shaped by their lies, broken hearts, and broken trust. For a while, they deceive the world, but not themselves. They'll chase short thrills, cheap validation from strangers, and meaningless relationships based on lies to numb the emptiness. Their absence will be filled by nothing. Nothing. Nothing can replace what they lost. They lost you. Not only the one who loved them despite their flaws, cared, and tried. They lost your future, the unstoppable force you became after leaving. The one they can never injure, manipulate, or control. Once they understand, they didn't lose someone who cared. They lost their greatest blessing. You'll be so far away when they realize what they had that even memories of you will seem distant. They'll look for someone like you, but no one will compare because you're rare. People like you are invaluable. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "It is not death that a man should fear, but never beginning to live." While you've lived fully, courageously, without regret, they've existed, stuck in a loop of hollow games, failed relationships, and regret. They became prisoners of the world they built, which was their unanticipated fall. Say it. I'm their last lesson. Leave it in the comments. Claim it. Live it. While they're living in the rubble of their lie-based lives, you're enjoying a future they'll only dream about. They'll never escape that ending. They felt they won, but they were never in the game. You rise while they lie in ruin. You created a life of power, purpose, and independence they can't touch. Say it with me. I rise above their grasp. Leave a comment, announce, own, and let the world know you've moved on. Please like, subscribe, and join this journey to unstoppable development and resilience. You're thriving, not just surviving. Don't forget that your story is just starting. We'll see you next time.